Good evening. My name is Neil Nobi. I'm the Secretary and Registrar for the NTPSA League, and I wanted to create this video as an instructional means to log on to the online registration system by Sports Pilot. This video will be accompanied by the PowerPoint presentation, which we will send, but I just wanted to kind of briefly and quickly walk through the process of registering online. So with that, I will share my screen and bring up the PowerPoint. So again, this is the Sports Pilot online registration, step-by-step instructions to register. First of all, you log into this link that we will provide in the presentation itself. Next, you log into your user ID, username, typically your email address, and password, the 9-digit NTPSA ID that is provided at every registration period. So it typically starts with either 4 or 5 zeros and a number that is your specific ID. And that's typically a password. Now, some people may not have either the email address or the password. And if you don't, and you're not aware of what it is, just reach out to me and I can provide that for you and reset your password. You click on the begin registration. You should see your name. Click on begin registration to start the process to register for spring 2021. Again, that will bring up this screen that will show your name, which you click on your name. It will direct you to the Spring 2021 program. Click on this, and then you'll get a selection for the desired league, or what is called league in Sports Pilot, but what we call divisions in NTPSA. So right now we're set up for Division 1, Division 2, 30, 40, 50, and 55. Division 1, if there are any other open divisions, there will be Division 3. Depending on how many teams that we have coming in. We'll have 30 divisions, 30 A, B, C, again, based on the number of teams, 40 A, B, C, etc. So based on the number of teams coming in, we'll divide up the divisions based on the record and the standing of the teams, the normal stuff that we do, and place you in the appropriate division. Now, you may be able to request if you'd like to be in 30A or 30B or 40A, 40B, Division 2, whatever. But I won't know until final placement where you would be placed. Next, you can select your role as the captain or coach. It's typically this link here, the team register, player, captain, coach, and team fee. Click on that link. It brings you, you'll have to agree to the league terms. This is the contract assumption of an acknowledgement of risks and release of liability agreement. Now we have this on file already, but again online we'll ask you to go through that to have this online version. Then you come to this update and this form that will allow you to update and complete your information. I've only captured part of the form. But this form also includes your team information sheet that you typically fill out that gives the name of your team, the colors of your uniform, the preferred fields that you want, any alternate days for weekday games, that standard stuff that's filled out on the team information sheet that we will need for this season. Note that all the fields that are asterisked that have asterisks on it are required to fill out before you are allowed to continue on. And next, you will click on the checkout. Notice there'll be a $0 in here because we don't charge a team fee. We charge an individual player fee, so it'll be $0 at this point. Once you click the checkout, here you'll submit your registration. Again, ignore the cost. It's a zero cost at this point. Once you submit your registration, you'll get a confirmation via email, an email notification confirming that you have registered the team. It'll provide the date and your information here. So that's just a validation that we've received the information and we are confirming that the team is now registered. The next screen will give you an option to print if you'd like to have a record for yourself, or click return to account. Once return to account is clicked on, here it brings you back to the screen that you will click on your name. Shows you the option of registering for the 2021 spring season. Click on that. And then it'll bring you up to the team roster, your team roster page. Here, there are two options. I'll go through the first one, which is inviting a player to register on your team. If you click on that link, you'll come to a screen that has all the past players that were on your team. If you had a team before with players on there, and then you can select off all the ones that you want to invite. You've got to make sure that that everyone though has email addresses, or else they would not receive the link, obviously. So it's really important to ensure that your players have email addresses, and that if it comes back saying that there are no email addresses, that you have email addresses for that player. It may make sense to verify the email addresses that you have. Not everyone with captured email addresses. So this will be very important for them to receive that link, and that they'll receive that link to that email address. You can also invite new players, or if the player on file doesn't have an email address on file and you know that, then here's where you can enter their email address to send them that link. This is continuing on that process. Enter their name for additional recipients and send that link to them. So that's the first process. That's inviting players to join your team. And you know, my preference, and if I were to make a recommendation, the league's preference would be that you sign up through that process. Have players pay for themselves individually. Send them the link. That link will get to them and it will be directed specifically to your team. They'll be allowed to register themselves, self-register. That's the whole purpose, I think, of the online system, to take the burden off of you captains to collect names and pay for the players, and allow them to pay for their registration individually. So that's the first option that I'd suggest that you consider. Now, if you don't want to send them invitations individually, and you want to collect or assemble your team, I should say, and pay for your team, then you select this link, register team members. That will lead you to this page where you want to add players. Also, on this page, if you notice, there's an option to add coaches. So along with yourself, the alternate, the contact 1 and contact 2, this is where you add them as well. Once you click on add players, it will bring a list of the players. I've only captured 3 of them, but there's a whole long list under this on the team that I had last registered. What that will do is, once you select the list or select the players, it will bring you up to the screen. It's the same screen that a player, if you send them individually, the same form that they'll have to fill out. It just kind of verifies their information. First name, last name, captures their date of birth, make sure that everything is accurate, and also allow them to agree to the waiver, which by typing in their specific name. Then you add those players to the roster with any specific notes that you may have for us at that point. And then next, you check out. So once you check out, you notice the fee is $85. At this point, I want to mention that there's still that 5% processing fee that you'll incur. So the total fee at checkout for each individual player is actually $89.25. As seen reflected here. $89.25 plus the process, $85 plus the processing fee for $89.25. You'll be allowed to pay by Visa and MasterCard, and you can submit your payment that way. You can also add the coach, as I mentioned before. And once you have multiple players, for example, and when you check out and pay, it'll add those totals for the number of players that you've added to the roster. So in this case, I just added two players, so 85 and 85. 2 or 3 players, 3 players, I believe I added, and then the fee accordingly to give the total for the team that I as a coach am checking out and registering for. The one cautionary thing that I want to mention here is once you get each of those players' forms that you have to acknowledge, I would acknowledge it depending on how comfortable you are. Put your name in there or put the player's name in there. But however, I would put your email address in there so that they don't receive a link and are confused by the link that says they're going to have to self-register. That way, you will pay for them with your credit card, and they won't get a notice, and then the whole team will be registered. I hope that makes sense. And that's it. That's the process. If there are any questions, again, we will be sending the PowerPoint with each of those screens. You can follow that process. You have the recording as well. And certainly if there are any questions, I'm available via email, via Zoom, one-on-one personal meetings to help you through the process. Good luck. We look forward to receiving your information. We look forward to having a good season in spring 2021. Thank you.